Adonainu, Moreno, ורבינו, המשיח, Shalom Dovber Baruch. Welcome to the summary of the weekly Dvar Malchus, and sicha from shabbas, Parshas Matos-Masai, Tafshin Aleph. Rebbe King Moshiach Shlit starts off with the fact that one of the unique ideas of this week's Shabbos, that we finished reading the entire Torah, we finished reading Parshas Matos-Masai, which is the last parsha of Chumash by Midbar, and the last Chumash of Dvarim is Moshe saying over the entire Torah again. And then we announce Chazak, Chazak, when it's Chazak. We have the time we're finding ourselves now, is the time of the 3 weeks of the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, especially in many years, like in this year. We're reading the Shabbos, the Parshas Matos-Masai during the 9 days. So how, if the whole idea of the 3 weeks and the 9 days is weakness for the Jewish people, why is this the time that we are announcing together Chazak, Chazak, when it's Chazak? You could be able to say that one completes the other because there is a weakness, therefore we need to strengthen and say Chazak, Chazak, and Chazak. However, it says Rebbe King Moshiach Shlit sounds better to say that Chazak, 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 and Chazak has to do with the time itself, with the parsha itself, till the fact that it's called Shabbos Chazak. To understand this base of this, that we say Chazak, Chazak, and Chazak, and which parsha? Matos and Masai. Seemingly, Matos and staff as more relevant to the idea of Chazak, of strength. Nevertheless, you see that when we say Chazak, Chazak, after Masai, they're traveling. And why? The whole idea of Chazak, 3 times Chazaka, means even overpowering an opponent. Because number 1 shows the idea of Kedusha, 2 shows their opponent, the Kedusha in the world, 3 shows Kedusha takes over the world. And this in itself is 2 ways. It can be because the Kedusha is so powerful and the power is just covers over the world from above. It's the idea of Matos. You have Masay, the Kedusha goes down to the world and turns the world over to be part of Elikos. There's an advantage in each one. Therefore, with Chazak, Chazak, and with Chazak, you have 2. You have the strength of Matos, of the Kedusha overpowering the world, and the Chazak of Masay, they are traveling, and the Kedusha comes down to the world and elevates the world from below. And the completion is both together. And this idea is also emphasized in the fact that which Aliyah connects Matos and Masay, the 4th there, the V. Why? Because 3 shows that we're connecting 2 opposites. So we feel still 2 opposites. 4 is something even higher. Like we see the idea of a chair, more complete with 4 until the 5th. And now we're coming to the Chumash of Dvarim, which is the 5th Sefer. And it's emphasized in the fact that in many years we read Parshas Matos-Masai in the 4th month on Tammuz, or in the 5th month, which is the day of number 5. It also has the day of the Geula. And this is the connection between our time and our 3 weeks. We know that the whole purpose of the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash was to come to a greater elevation of the greater Beis Hamikdash, because when the Jewish people left Egypt and they crossed the sea, they said Hashem Mikdash Adon Akeinu Dach, Hashem build a Beis Hamikdash and it'll be forever. Yimlech L'Olam Hashem King forever. However, an action in the world was the destruction of the first Beis Hamikdash. And in order to get to that time, there will be a Hashem King forever, an everlasting Beis Hamikdash, had to be the stages of the first 2 Beis Hamikdash were destroyed. And why? The first Beis Hamikdash, time of Shalom Melech, what time was the revelation of Elikos, of godliness, of hard in the world. However, the world couldn't handle it, therefore it was destroyed. This second Beis Hamikdash, however, was missing 5 things, missing the Ari, missing fire, missing 4 other things. The level of godliness is low, however, it's very, very nice. Therefore, the world also is not everlasting. Completion of the Beis Hamikdash is 3rd. We have the 3rd Beis Hamikdash, complete both together. And there will be everlasting redemption. This also emphasizes the fact that sometimes we call this redemption the 4th, the 5th redemption, chosen everlasting. And that's the connection between Shabbos, Parshas Chazak, Chazak, and Chazak, in the time. They are now in the time of the 3 weeks, and even in the 9 days. The whole purpose of these 3 weeks is the idea of the Geula, coming to the great advantage of the Beis Hamikdash. It emphasizes the fact that sometimes the redemption is called the 4th, 5th redemption, and so the Beis Hamikdash is emphasized in. It's called the 4th, 5th Beis Hamikdash. This is the strength in all the years of Golus. That every descent and every destruction is mainly Chazak, Chazak, Chazak. It's all coming to elevation of the Geula. This idea is also connected with the idea that we started before at Shabbos on Friday, which on Friday was the passing of Adonai. It says in 6 Parsha that on the first day of month of our 5th month, Adonai passed away. And we must say this date that he passed away is connected to this idea of Adonai. What do we see about Aaron HaKohen? Two unique things. First of all, that V'yifku Kol Beit Yisrael, everyone was crying when he passed away. Also the men and the women. Also the clouds left. And now covered. Why? It shows that they have unity, because Aaron HaKohen would make peace between a person and his friend, and between a man and a woman. And also the idea of the water that everyone got and the mun they had in the desert was limited according to every single person according to their level. However, the idea of a cloud surrounds everyone together. It's the idea of unity. This idea is also emphasized in the fact of his name Aharon, which is the idea of love. And the Aleph stands for Pella, wonders, means higher than the whole of the Shalshlos. However, this Aleph, which stands Aleph Hey, stands for Avar, and the Reish is Rabba, which is unlimited love, which is higher than the love of ורבינו, is Nun chosen love going down lower than the line. Just like there are letters that are lower than the line, also are Yidden, which are come from the letters of Torah, also lower than the line. And nevertheless, love of Aaron comes even to those levels. So this is expressed in the fact that the whole idea of Aaron HaKohen is the Birkas Kohanim. What's the Birkas Kohanim? On one hand, it's a blessing. Hashem is giving a bracha from above. On the other hand, it's a prayer. It makes both opposites. And the idea is also emphasized in the fact that Aaron's years are 123, whereas 3 mean collecting the idea from above and also from below. And the third level, which connects them both. And this is the whole idea that Aaron passed away in the 5th month. That's fifth is the of Chamishes Lapare. It's the highest level. It's higher than the Shalshos in the first of that month, Rosh Chodesh, the head, which includes the entire month. With that, but the idea of unity between above and below, and also all different types of Eden together. And this also gives the fact. Come to the next month, which is the month of El, which is Anil Daily. I come with my beloved, and beloved comes to me. Are in both ways, because of the power of this 5th month, we have the power to connect both of these together. And what do you have to learn from this? If you learn, we have now the chazak of the 4th month, of the 4th sefer coming to the 5th sefer, and from the 4th month to the 5th month. So the idea of the geula, how it's united, higher than the differences of the first and second mitzvah, the first, second geula. How do we take this idea of unity through the idea of Abbas Yisrael, like it does in the Pirkei Avos? Having to be the students of Aaron, to me the plural, Lashon Rabbim, a lot of students, the whole amount of students, and the connection to the geula is not only because the whole exile was because of the Sinas Kenem, and we fixed this through Abbas, so rather now that we're studying on the threshold, on the saf of the geula of the redemption, we have to already start tasting the geula through having unity. It's higher than Lenis Chalkos. And according to this, we can explain the continuation of the Mishnah that through this, you love them, you love the creations, you're bringing them close to the Torah. Not only the Torah, we're bringing them close to the Torah Chadasha of Mashiach. And this is also expressed in the Pirkei Avos to read of this Shabbos, which is Parak Beis, which over there Rebbe Shimon says, have a zohar, be careful of Kriyashman Tefillah. Rebbe Shimon reminds us of Rashbi, Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai. Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai was Torah, someone else said learning Torah. Nevertheless, what did Rebbe Shimon say? Not only you should be careful learning Torah, because not everyone is at the level of being Torah, someone else that always learning Torah. Rather, he says to also careful in davening and tefillah. Hold that even people on low levels come to the level of Torah, someone else. Like even in Torah itself, there are 2 levels. Like Abhil Bad would say, the Tzimach says the Maimer, as Hashem speaking. When even the Tzimach himself gives explanation, that explanation comes from below. It's not the same idea. And the idea is connected also to the fact of making siyum for 9 days, because the whole point of making a siyum, it makes a yom tif, and the custom is to bring many Yidden. Not only that, also bring small children. Just like by of Pesach, we bring even small children. And so to by the 9 days, that's siyum. Bring even small children. And what's the connection? The siyum to make an erev Pesach is a preparation for Pesach. However, the siyum making the 9 days is a preparation for the geula, which is similar to the Mitzrayim, especially in this year, which is the year of I'll show you wonders. And especially now that we are standing now on the threshold of the geula. And Yudachin, through speaking about all these ideas and making good resolutions, it's all this will accomplish in a hurry, very, very soon. Bring the pale, the Gula, Shlish, the Mitzvah, Shlishi, and because we already finished all the Veda of all the 42 travelings in the Midbar, we'll leave from the west side from Mizrach, from the east side of the Yarden to the west side of the Yarden, go towards the Besmingosh, to the west, to the west side, where there is the idea of the Kodesh Kadashim, which is on the west side of the Beis Hamikdash, where Luches are, and Kitzur Adam Shechni Offer have the waking of Tchias Mesim of Aaron HaKohen. We'll all go together and have a Terech Chadasha with Moshe Rebbeinu, and everyone will point the finger and say, "Here, Eila," and which all this have is taken from Yad Mamash. אדוננו, ורבינו, ורבינו, המשיח, לעולם.